Happy Friday and welcome to Sick Call. Thank you for tuning in, and we're excited for today's guests. With us, we have Captain Neal Nettesheim, U.S. Army Emergency Medicine Physician. Good morning, sir, and thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me. Good to see you.
So you also see we have another new face today, Sergeant First Class Jonathan Gibson. He's from the Los Angeles Physician Recruiting Team. Good morning, Sergeant First Class Gibson.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
And of course, we have our team, Major Elrico Fernandez.
Hello all.
Sergeant First Class Michelle Phillips.
Good morning.
Staff Sergeant Scott McMenemy.
Good morning.
And I myself and Sergeant First Class Michael Cube.
Well, sir, I'd like to welcome you again. Can you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm originally from a small town in Wisconsin called Broadhead. Went to college and grad school at one of the state schools, University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. From there, I went into medical school at the University of Wisconsin. And the same week I got into medical school, I called up the Army recruiter and got an HPSP scholarship. From then, after finishing med school, I went to emergency medicine residency at Joint Base Lewis McChord in Tacoma, Washington. Finished there in 2018, and since then I'm on my first assignment as a battalion surgeon in the 1st Armored Division here at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas.
So, sir, if I can ask, why did you choose the Army?
I think of all the branches, it was the one that interested me most because there's the most to do. If you want to fly, you can fly. If you want to do you want to do some more special operations stuff, they have more opportunities for that. They are probably the broadest branch in terms of their reach and ability for special training and opportunities. And I think I'm pretty sure they're also the largest branch as well. And so the Army seemed like a good fit for me. And in addition to that, no one else called me back. So the Army was the one who they want you and you want them. So, but I'm happy with my choice.
Sir, so what were some of the benefits of completing your residency through the U.S. Army?
A lot of the civilian sector is, healthcare is a business. And so we had the opportunity in residency to really see how medicine is supposed to be practiced. We don't have a profit motive necessarily. And so you get to see how medicine is supposed to be done. And we also have a really strong, Army medicine is in general very strong academically compared to our civilian counterparts because there isn't that drive to see more patients and produce revenue. And that doesn't really exist. So we do a lot to solidify our academic foundations, and also you still get a good broad experience in the military. So although we are a little different than our civilian counterparts, we still rotate to civilian institutions and get to see problems and medical presentations that are similar, more what you're going to see in the civilian side too. So we get to venture out away from the flagpole and get a good broad education, in addition to having strong academics and really being able to practice medicine the way it's supposed to be done.
So, Doc, have you had any additional training opportunities that your civilian counterparts may not have the opportunity to do? Absolutely.
There's, of course, a heavy focus on TC3, tactical combat casualty care, and there's different levels of it. Kind of working at the point of injury, and then we say at the next level, the aid station, or kind of a very limited, a little bit more involved trauma stuff. But also, we're also doing a lot with radiation. I had the opportunity to take classes in medical effects of radiation, coursework in humanitarian assistant operations, and also in advanced, kind of basic and advanced burn care as well. All these are kind of very common problem sets in the military, and I don't think I'd have those opportunities as a civilian.
Sir, we receive a lot of questions about uniform. Do you have to wear your uniform in the ER?
I do not. I'm wearing it now because I have to go into work after this, but to the clinic. But No, not in the ER. You don't have to wear your uniform. No one's going to fault you for wearing your uniform if you want to, but most of the time people wear just scrubs and tennis shoes. And so you have to, depending on the institution, you usually have to wear your rank somewhere on your scrubs. But other than that, it's pretty normal, pretty like a civilian institution.
So, sir, what do you enjoy most about military medicine or treating its soldiers?
Yeah, I think military-wide, my favorite thing, and I think everyone's favorite part about the military is the people that you're working with. They are usually a little bit more motivated than anywhere else. And I'm a little bit older than a lot of people in my unit. And it's just really fun to be with a lot of these medics who are, in their 20s, and going to go out the field with them and kind of hang out and see what they're like. And so the people are always the number one thing. And I think it's kind of universal in the military. But also the variety of settings that you can practice in, and really exploring kind of your skill set as a physician. You can be in a very austere field setting. You can be in a level 1 trauma center. You can be in kind of variations between the two of all different levels of care, and you really get to stretch and see what your true capabilities are as a doctor, because you are able to practice in so many different settings. It's just a real professional challenge, and it's also very rewarding.
So, sir, could you explain to our viewers a little bit about your current position as the battalion surgeon of your unit, what it consists of?
So right now, I'm the primary care manager for about 600 soldiers. So I take care of their routine issues in clinic. And then I'm also available throughout the day for any acute problems that could arise, and making sure they have all of their medical readiness stuff done. So making sure they're up to date with their annual physical exam, making sure that their hearing tests are good, that they have their dental exams, immunizations, all those sort of things. And we also are tracking, making sure soldiers that do get injured or sick, that they're getting better and able to do their job in the Army, and that they're progressing on and healing. Also, because I'm an emergency medicine doctor, I don't just spend all my time in clinic. I probably, out of the week, on average, I work in the emergency department about 2 to 3 times a week as well. So I keep up with my ED skill set, not just living in clinic all the time.
Sir, what were some of your favorite things at Joint Base Lewis McChord, or Washington State in that matter?
It's a really there's so much to do. It's such a broad variety of things. Where I lived in Tacoma, we're about an hour from the beach. We're an hour from the beach. We're an hour from a 14,000-foot mountain, and we're about an hour, and we were about 30 minutes away from doing things in Seattle, plays, concerts, whatever you want, music festivals, and just kind of normal Seattle things. So. You could go and do anything whenever you wanted to. It's just a very centrally located area. It's nice. It's green. It's never hot. It's never too cold. It is always raining, but that's okay. It's usually, you can't even tell. It's
like a mist, isn't it?
It's just a mist. You're just kind of walking around fog, and sometimes it's a little more wet than usual, but it's such a nice place.
So, Doc, so what do you do as an Army doc that civilian docs don't get a chance to do?
I think the medicine, certainly just the nature of the Army is you're put in a little bit different situations, and that kind of changes. So, if you're in an airborne unit, you have to start thinking about what kind of injuries people are going to get when you fall, when you do a parachute landing. And when I'm in an armored unit, I think about the different threats that are possibly going to happen to my soldiers. Could they get run over, or you're dealing with large tanks with limited visibility. So you are taking into account all these different things you don't normally account for in the civilian world. And so you're just treating injuries like normal, like you would, but the threats are a little bit different. The things that are going to cause an injury are certainly different. But the other side of this is that you're a medical officer. So you're on the officer side of your title, you have to start planning a lot for these things. So you can't treat a broken leg if you didn't bring a splint with you. So resourcing these things, bringing their supplies, thinking ahead of what you're going to need, and then talking to the right people and making sure that those things that you go out to the field or that you go out into that setting with those supplies is a real big part. Planning, supplying, and just kind of knowing what your resources are. So if somebody does get hurt, how are you going to get them back to a hospital? So having that broad encompassing thing of you have to start, it's not just you show up and you do your job like I normally do in the ER and everything just kind of magically appears. You take the functions of about a dozen people in a hospital setting, and it's just you to plan and resource and supply yourself in addition to providing the medical care.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, very good, sir. Question about licenses. How many licenses do you have to maintain, and do you have to maintain them in every state you practice in?
No, in the federal government, when I practice in the federal system, you just have to have one state license in the United States somewhere. Nowhere, you don't have to have it in every state you practice in. And I only have, I have a handful because I practice off post as well, but you just need one.
Okay, excellent, sir. So currently for our reserve physicians, we have some excellent opportunities from loan repayment to a yearly bonus, $40,000 a year, and 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year serving locally, and the opportunity to do 90-day activation, serving overseas, and doing humanitarian aid with various countries. Honduras is one of the most recent humanitarian aid missions one of our local units here in California got back from. And there's just a lot of opportunity to serve locally, especially with the COVID-19 going around, that may not be something civilian providers get to jump into. So we have a lot of different opportunities, sir, even from active duty like you, and then into reserve when you're, if you decide to complete your full-time service. There's a lot of great opportunities for you.
Sign me up.
So, sir, we would like to thank you for being with us today. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all good. We have one more question for you, sir, if you don't mind. If there was one thing you could tell the folks that are viewing today, anybody that's currently in medical school, residency, whatever the case might be, what is the one thing from your perspective that makes Army medicine worth the look?
I think that you have an opportunity really to do all sorts of things that you would never do in the civilian world. There's no real comparison to this job in the civilian side because you're really combining a lot of different roles into one. In a lot of ways, you're the sole decision maker for in my realm, about 600 people, and that could be up to 4,000 guys, 4,000 soldiers that you're responsible for the medical care of. Depending on what type of job you have. So it's you're just never going to have that opportunity to take care of them all the way from your kind of the clinic, keeping them healthy and make sure they're strong and fit, all the way through a deployment or field training, keeping them safe and taking care of acute injuries, and then getting them, making sure that they're good after all that's done and they get back, and helping them transition out to the civilian side if that's what they're going to do. So. You really get to see the whole spectrum of care, and there's just no other opportunities to do some of the things here that you would have in the civilian sector.
Awesome. And for the folks in the audience, our viewership right now, wrong screen, sorry folks, technical. But on the screen right now, you can see the contact information for the physician recruiting team for Sergeant Gibson's team, located in Culver City. So please reach out to them if you have an interest in becoming an Army physician, and take advantage of the opportunities that we do have out there for folks like you. And thank you, of course, sir, for being here with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Again, thank you, sir, and we for being here with us today.
Oh yeah, no problem.
And I'd also like to thank our viewers for logging in and being with us once again. As always, we welcome your questions, so please comment below or on any of your other social media platforms. Next, we will be welcoming to our show Sergeant First Class Marlon Johnson. He's the station commander for the Culver City Medical Recruiting Station, and Public Health Nurse First Lieutenant Angie Wong. So please join us every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for Sick Call right here on our YouTube channel. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.